Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. And if you're listening to this, there's a good chance you might be spending the holidays solo this year. And if that's you, this episode is for you. Now, I'm not going to hit you with forced cheerfulness or pretend that being alone during the holidays is always some enlightening spiritual journey. Sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it's truly complicated. And sometimes, well, it's actually exactly what you need. So let me explain. This is what I call seasonal solitude. First of all, let's acknowledge something really important. You are not the only one spending the holidays alone. In fact, millions of people around the world are in the same boat. Some by choice, some by circumstance, many by a mix of both. So, why do people end up solo during the season? Well, one thing, distance, that's a huge thing. I heard from a listener named Sophia who lives in Boston, but her entire family is in Portugal. Between flights, time off from work, and the cost of everything being really exorbitant, much is like triple during the holidays. She makes the trip every other year. This year isn't her year. So on December 25th, it's just her cat, she calls Mr. Whiskers, and a lot of FaceTime calls at some weird hours because of, well, the time difference. Then you have the problem with work. Not everyone gets to clock out just because it's Christmas. You got emergency responders. You've got the healthcare workers. There are people in the hospitality and retail industry. The world just doesn't stop. And, a friend of mine is a flight attendant and she's worked the last 5 Christmases in a row. She jokes that Delta is her family, no, but, I know she misses being home. Breakups are another big reason why people are solo in the season. The holidays, yes, can shine a spotlight on relationships that aren't working, or maybe sometimes the stress of the season itself becomes the breaking point. Suddenly, your plans that you made together are just gone. And now here you are facing a holiday you weren't prepared to face alone. Well, enter family. Family stuff gets complicated too. Not every family is a safe or healthy space, right? Let's face it. Maybe there's conflict. Maybe there's someone who makes gatherings unbearable. Maybe you're just not accepted for who you are. So choosing to spend the holidays alone isn't, you know, in a toxic environment, that's not what you really want. And it's truly sad. That's self-preservation, pretty much. And you know what? Sometimes people just prefer it. I've talked to introverts, like myself here, who find the whole holiday social marathon absolutely exhausting. I mean, personally, I'd rather have a quiet day doing exactly what I want than navigating the expectations and small talk of a big gathering. There are others like me out there. Not everybody's extroverted and a sociable social butterfly. So, wherever you fall into that mix, here's the thing, being alone doesn't automatically mean being lonely. Now, if you are feeling lonely, that's totally valid. And, I'm going to talk about ways to address that. But there's actually a difference between loneliness, that painful feeling of feeling disconnected from others, and solitude, which can be peaceful, restorative, and even chosen. All right, so let's get practical here. How do you actually navigate the holidays when you're on your own? Good question. First, Suggestion I'd say is create your own traditions. And I mean your traditions, not just doing the standard stuff alone. Who made up those rules anyway? I know someone who spends Christmas morning baking some great, elaborate cinnamon rolls from scratch. Something she would probably never have time to do if she were traveling or hosting. That has become her thing. Or think about your ideal day. No compromises. If you want to watch horror movies instead of Christmas classics, do it. You want to order Thai food instead of turkey? Sure, absolutely. One of my favorite stories is from a listener who makes Christmas about art. Every year, she spends a day working on a painting or a craft project, something totally immersive. So by the end of her day, she's created something that's pretty special, spectacular, really. Another thing you could do is volunteer. Volunteering is another powerful option, yes. Food banks, homeless shelters, animal rescues, they all need extra hands during the holidays. And here's what people don't always talk about: volunteering helps you as much as it helps others. Your own people. You're doing something meaningful, and you're reminded that community exists in lots of forms. Virtual connections, by the way, do count too. I can't stress this enough. Video call with your best friend while you both eat dinner, sure, that's real connection. Gaming online with friends, that's connection. Even joining a random live stream or a virtual event where you can chat with strangers, it all counts, I think. Treat yourself, like really treat yourself. Book a massage, order that expensive takeout, buy yourself that precious gift. This isn't the time for self denial or feeling guilty about spending money on your own happiness. If there was ever a time to prioritize comfort, this would be it. Also, get outside. Get outside. Yes, the world is quieter on Christmas Day. Yes, the streets are emptier. And there's something almost magical about a morning walk when everyone else is inside. It's refreshing. Plus, you got that fresh air and movement. Those are generally good for your mental health. So, here's permission for something you can make it low key. It doesn't have to be this transformative, Instagram worthy experience. Sometimes celebrating just means putting on comfortable clothes, ordering pizza, and watching 6 episodes of your favorite show. Hallmark Christmas movies. That's completely legitimate. And if you're feeling really isolated, seek out other solo people. There are online communities. Facebook has a lot of them. They got local meetup groups. Even just reaching out to that acquaintance, is also alone. You could create a small gathering of solo folks. Sometimes the best holidays are the ones where we gather together ourselves. Huddle, solo. So let's talk about the hard stuff for a minute. If you're struggling, like really struggling, please reach out. There are crisis lines and text services that are available 24/7, and they exist for exactly these moments. There is no shame in using them. So, yes, if you're struggling in this season, do please reach out. Call those lines or text services. They're there and available for you. If social media is making you feel worse, put your phone down. This comparison game that people play during the holidays, that's brutal sometimes. Everybody's posting their highlight reel, their best life, and you're comparing it to your behind the scenes low season. It's really not a fair comparison. So, give yourself permission to feel whatever it is you're feeling. If you need to cry, cry. If you're angry that things turned out this way, be angry. Emotions don't ruin the holidays, suppressing them does. So make sure you're taking care of the basics. Eat real food, nutritious, healthy food. Also, stay hydrated and get yourself some quality sleep. These things really sound simple, but when you're alone and feeling down, they're truly easy to neglect. So here's what I want you to remember. Being solo during the holidays doesn't mean something went wrong with your life. It's just a circumstance. Sometimes it's temporary, sometimes it's a choice, and sometimes it's just how things shook out this year. So, yeah, you're not broken. You're not behind. You're not missing out on the real way to do the holidays. You're just doing it differently. And honestly, a lot of people in those big family gatherings are looking at their watch, managing the drama, feeling overwhelmed, and wishing for 5 minutes of peace. You know something? The grass isn't always greener. The holidays are just days. They'll come, they'll go, and you'll get through them in your own way. Whatever that looks like for you, whether it's quiet reflection, joyful solitude, or just surviving until it's over. Yep, that's right. So, however you're spending this season, I hope you find moments that feel good. I hope you're kind to yourself. And I hope you remember that even when you're physically alone, you're part of a huge community of people navigating the same thing. One last thing I want you to remember: no, you're not alone. Because you know what? God is always there with you. He always promises, I'll never leave you, I'll never forsake you, I'll be by your side, no matter what it is that you go through. So remember that in this solitude season. Well, guys, this one was short. Thanks for listening. And if it resonated with you, share it with somebody who might need to hear it. And listen, whatever you're doing this holiday, do take care of yourself. I'll catch you in the next one. Merry Christmas.